Hi, it's Alie Schneider from Merriman Market Analysts. I'm joined here by my dad, Ray, and his wife, Antonia. And this is something we've been doing lately. I have these talks with the two of them. We call them our casual cosmic conversations, where we talk about headlines that we see in the news, what's going on, how I view it in my shoes, and then Ray and Antonia tell me how they view it on their side from an astrology point of view. So I'll allow them to introduce themselves, and then I'll share with you a few of the topics we've been talking about this week so far.
Okay, Antonia?
Yeah, my name is Antonia Langsdorff Merriman. I'm commuting between Germany and USA. I'm married to Ray Merriman and I'm astrologer. I have a big YouTube channel and I'm very interested what's going on and checking it cosmically.
I'm Ray Merriman, as I hope most of you know. And yes, I'm actually Antonia's husband. And I'm pleased to be here with my daughter and my wife, discussing this cosmic conversation on current events. So let's roll.
All right. So a first article that I want to bring up, something that's very top of mind for me, being part of that millennial generation, is this headline article from the Wall Street Journal that was published in April. So it was about 2.5 months ago, called "Would Life Be Better If You Worked Less?" Talking about what would our life be like with a 4-day work week, something that in America we don't do anymore ever since the Industrial Revolution. I feel like we're very cut and dry, 40 hours a week, 5 days a week. So I want to know what your view is on this and why are people now suddenly very curious about working less hours and giving more of themselves to their family?
Would you like me to start out with this?
Yeah, but I want you to give you credit right away because when was it when Saturn moved into Pisces? It was in March this year. And I talked to Ray about it. I said, Ray, give me some clues. What is it? Saturn and Pisces. He said, oh, it's going to be the 4-day week work. I said, what?
Yeah.
So he had it back then already.
I had it in November when I wrote the forecast for 2024 book.
Yeah.
There's a chapter in there called Saturn and Pisces.
For 2023, you mean?
Yeah, 2023.
Yeah.
I'm ahead of myself.
Yes.
So for 2023, I'm looking at Saturn, which is stress and pressure, going into Pisces, which is the desire to escape pressure and stress, to be free of that feeling of restriction. So I thought, Saturn and Pisces is going to be a conflict. The conflict is between the stresses that are caused by working too hard, being so ambitious, and the urge to want to relax more, enjoy life, enjoy your relationships, and have more pleasure in your life. So it just made sense to me that there's going to be a movement toward less work, either more vacation time or less days of the week or less hours per day. And I kind of concluded it'd probably be more like a 4-day week.
Mm-hmm.
And that was my understanding of Saturn and Pisces, a dynamic and how it would unfold in 2024. And as you see, this has already been going on in France.
Yes.
It's going on in other countries, but it's also getting steam in the United States as of the beginning of this year, 2024. There is a movement.
2023.
2023.
Still ahead
I'm
of
still
yourself.
ahead of me. I'm still being very Uranus, aren't I?
Yeah, and talking of Uranus, it brings me to Aquarius, which is where Uranus is ruling. And then Pluto moved into Aquarius.
Yeah.
It's also a movement of renewing society and renewing and breaking rules and setting up new things. And then Ray said, that was so clever. He said, on the one side, people are going to break rules. On the other side, Saturn and Pisces is likely to give in because it's kind of soft. It's not going to hold up to the strict rules. And so with this, it may happen that society is changing and that they get more freedom, like freedom to do their own thing instead of just working.
Well, remember too, Saturn is time.
Yeah.
And Neptune is transcendence of time. So you got the conflict of trying to do so much in a limited amount of time in conflict with, again, desire to be free of the constraints of time, whether it's through work, sleep, whatever, you want to have more freedom from time. And Aquarius, as you mentioned, is freedom, the urge for freedom. There's Pluto being obsessed with having more freedom combined with Saturn, which is stress, in Pisces, which doesn't want stress.
Yes.
So you got all these dynamics
Yeah.
competing with each other. And I think in the end, people choose the path of least resistance, which would be more quality time, less pressure, less stress.
And it was so interesting, Alie, when we talked about this, I was not aware of it. I said, really? 4-day week? So I started looking it up and I said, oh, wow. Yeah. And I saw it's going on in France. And at the same time, they started discussing it in German politics too. And that was all, right around March, April, when Saturn was moving into Pisces. Yeah, that was pretty amazing.
Yeah. So you got all these conflicts with time, conflicts with quality of life, the urge to escape, if you will, from pressure. And at the same time, there's a Saturn principle still there too, that people still have this illusion that if they work hard, the harder they work, the richer they can become. And they're finding out that is an illusion in many cases. As a Wall Street article pointed out recently, people who think they're wealthy prefer to have more time spending with people that they love and care about than the pressure of having to work so hard and make ends meet. So you see these dynamics are really, really present right now in the world.
Well, I want to shift gears a little bit and talk about, again, that quest for freedom, this quest for wealth, and talk about a different article that I feel like we've talked about a lot lately, at least here in America. It's been taking over all of our headlines last week. It was such a big deal because it opened up such a bigger subject about the submersive, the Titan, how it went looking for the Titanic. And the article that I saw in Wall Street Journal, I read about it, was from June 20th, from Titanic tours to scaling Everest, extreme tourism. And I feel like that's somehow sliding into what you're saying, this quest for extreme, this quest for freedom, this quest for more. What is going on with that? We hear about Blue Origin, these brands of billionaires who are sending people to the space just for fun. What's going on here? What's this new extreme travel?
You got a couple dynamics here too. I mean, this is classic Saturn and Pisces. Saturn being loss and Pisces being the sea. Lost at sea. Okay, grieving over loss of a tragedy in the ocean, in the bottom of the ocean. Okay, and at the same time, people want to. They're attracted to the element of danger through adventure, as you mentioned. And Antonia, when we talk about adventure, what are we talking about? We're talking about Jupiter and Sagittarius.
Jupiter and Sagittarius.
And we talk about danger. What are we talking about?
And we were talking about, we are coming out of Jupiter and Aries.
Yes.
And Jupiter and Aries are very daring. It's like a combination of Mars and Jupiter, which means adventure, risk, danger.
It's macho bravado.
That's what I was wondering about. It feels like it's this like macho, this status thing, this, you know, that's wonderful. You've been to 6 continents, but you've never been to, you know, the bottom of the ocean. It feels like almost, is competitive the right word to use to describe what's going on?
Yes, competitive is an Aries term. Absolutely.
Okay. But the interesting thing now is Jupiter moved now into Taurus, which is Taurus is a Venus sign. And
what does that mean?
That means, first of all, it means that this might be cooling off now, this adventure quest after what happened. And it also means that people are getting back to be a little bit more comfortable, it's Jupiter and Taurus about indulgence. More indulge themselves than taking big fat risks.
You know, as Jupiter went into Taurus, which is the urge to have safety and comfort.
Right.
Within a couple of days of that, you also had Jupiter square Pluto, which is a rendezvous with death, a rendezvous with danger, a rendezvous with a threat to your life. It could be. And Mars was there, which is this desire to adventure, to say that I can overcome that threat. I'm stronger than that. I'm luckier than that. I'm more brave than that. So we had that in mid-May. Now that's about a 4-month aspect. You know, it has an influence about 4 months. Is it still
happening right now?
Yeah, this is May 16th to 23rd. We're still within 4 months of that, but we're moving away from it. The peak was then. Yeah. The peak was mid-May, but it's still pretty strong. And it will be strong probably through the summer.
It's an interesting industry. I feel like we've heard so much about this extreme tourism. Not quite as
And that's a
popular as,
Jupiter term too.
yeah.
Jupiter's
Okay.
extreme. So
Extreme is like the theme
yeah,
here, extreme. And
yeah.
another extreme change I feel like we've been seeing, which I don't have an article for, but I want to bring up, is this extreme change of AI. We don't need to find an
Yeah, very funny.
article anymore for AI, because every day there's a dozen more. This extreme flip, this extreme change to a change in how we live our life with AI. Anything to say there? I don't have a headline, but
Yeah.
anything you want to add about that?
Yeah.
Well, to me, it well coincides with Pluto going into Aquarius. Aquarius is the sign of the future and of computer wizards, intelligence,
Goes well
nerds,
together.
computer nerds, computer science, all that. Pluto is also the extreme. And we
Yeah.
kind of expected this to happen a little bit later when Uranus would go into Gemini. We thought it's going to happen then. That's going to be in what, 25 to
25,
2025.
2026.
But here it started
Right.
with Pluto going into Aquarius. That was very obvious that was that time. But I took the fun and casted the horoscope of ChatGPT. And that's so funny. And it's
Strange dude.
it's a strange dude. It's Gemini, which makes a lot of sense because Gemini is collecting information, and that's what he's based on. But his Gemini sun has a square to Neptune, so he's fantasizing a lot, and even and people are saying he's hallucinating. ChatGPT is hallucinating.
Which
They
is
said
Neptune.
that. I mean, people who are from what's the word? People who know talked about it. This is a term. It became a term that ChatGPT hallucinates. I said, what? This is Sun Neptune pure.
Yeah.
So the interesting thing is that this AI was made to make our life easier, but now the AI takes the nice tasks. It takes a task of writing poetry and fantasy, and the effort to make fact checks and control it is left to the humans. You know,
Right. We're
so
okay.
we got the
we got
we're the dull task. We're the fact checkers, and ChatGPT is the poet. Something's going wrong here. But this is in its DNA now, and we will have to deal with it for a long time. Of course, they're improving it. But I had conversations with ChatGPT. You wouldn't believe it. I asked him to count some words, and he said 130 words. I said, no, I see. It's a different number. He said 85. I said, no, it's more than that. It's 108. I found out with Word. And then he got back to me like, oh yeah, I'm sorry. Yes, I counted it again. Indeed, it's 108. I said, what's going on? So this was a weird chapter, but it has a lot to do with this new epoch that started, the epoch of the air signs
at zero Aquarius.
Which
is where Pluto is.
Yeah, and we're going into this 160-year period where air signs, meaning intelligence, thoughts, and also artificial intelligence, are being very, very much highlighted.
This is all part of a movement that we identified actually the last several years, maybe 3 or 4 years, in the forecast books and webinars, that we're going on parallel tracks. As Pluto goes into Aquarius, Uranus goes into Gemini, Saturn and Neptune go into Aries, which, by the way, February 20th, 2026, you're going to have what I call the Aries vortex. And I come up with that name with another researcher, Daniel Gordon, financial astrologer, researcher, that fits. And the reason why it's an Aries epoch is because Saturn and Neptune are in 0 Aries. They're right there. And also Uranus and Pluto are sextile, both Saturn and Neptune. And the midpoint is at 0, early Aries. So
it looks like an arrow.
It looks like an arrow.
Look like an arrow in a chart.
So it's a vortex of Uranus and Pluto and Saturn and Neptune all coming together, combining their principles. And so we're moving toward that. As I say, it's a parallel track. On one track, you've got the threat of annihilation, the threat of destruction in the world, of a nuclear eruption. Okay, and we talk about the nuclear option that's in somebody's hands still, and it's dangerous. At the same time, it's also a movement toward a renaissance in communications and innovation in communications. And now we see, just as we outlined in the Forecast for 2023 book, this is AI. AI is just in the beginning stages, and it's scary. It can be very destructive. People worried that artificial intelligence is going to destroy humanity. At the same time, we also recognize it's a great boon for humanity. It can do so many wonderful things we can only conceive of at this point. So we got these parallel tracks going on, destruction versus innovation and renaissance. And that's the theory of, that's the theme of this. Aries vortex, Saturn, Neptune coming up in with Neptune in Aries in February 2026, at the same time Uranus, Neptune, Uranus, Pluto midpoint is the same point. It's there too.
All right.
That's exciting.
That feels far away, February 20th, 2026. But as you said, it's just the beginning stages. It's already
Stages,
overswept all of our news feeds.
It's already
Really?
starting to merge power and pull things towards it. I think.
Yeah.
Well, it's pulling
Good
all of our
conversation.
attention towards it. I feel like that's been a very popular topic all around the globe recently. So
Yeah, it's
before
gonna
we
continue.
close out our casual chat, is there anything else you want to put out there? Anything else on the horizon? Anything else you want to share?
Well, this is our cosmic, was
Casual
it casual
conversation.
Yes, our casual cosmic conversation. Well,
great
today
idea.
is what, June 28th,
28th.
which is a very important time because we're right in the middle of two very important geocosmic signatures right now. Mars square Uranus, which was the coup attempt of
Yes,
Russia.
Right.
And that shows up too, and we can talk about that another time, but it's also Neptune turning retrograde this Saturday or this Friday. And so, you know, from a financial point of view, market's point of view, because many people know me in that genre, this is a critical reversal period, but it's important. But we had another big one coming up, probably one of the biggest of the year, just like that mid-May was when we had the debt ceiling crisis. We got another big one coming up, July 22nd. 20th to 22nd, when Venus goes retrograde, Mars opposed Saturn, Sun opposed Pluto. Very, very big time. And
But
so
do you want
we're
to
looking
share
forward to
that
that.
much about it?
Well, what I want to do is share that we're going to have a webinar on July 16th to prepare our readers, our subscribers, our followers, if you will, our fans, on what to expect as Venus goes retrograde under the Mars opposite Saturn, Sun opposite Pluto, which starts July 22nd, but you're going to feel it up to 10 days before, and it's going to go all through the rest of the summer. So be prepared for that. We're going to have quite a lineup with Gianni DiPoce, Matthew Kaiser, Wyatt Fellows, and myself. We're going to address various financial markets, give you our update as we go into this very powerful financial highlighted period.
Antonia, anything else you want to say as we close out our conversation this afternoon?
We got another great one coming up, and that's the nodes. The lunar nodes are going to change sign in July, and that highlights love and relationships. Of course, the whole Venus retrograde thing, it's highlighting love and relationship. It started already. I call it the summer of love, because we got a very hot constellation between Venus, Mars, and Lilith, the wild woman. And they're all making attention to Uranus. So all kinds of things can happen, like a wild love affair, like a breaking up, like something new. It's super exciting, and it highlights love and relationships a lot. And this goes on from now until October.
Yes, supercharges passion, supercharging passion.
Yeah, exactly. Wonderful said.
Everybody's looking for love. Hopefully they're looking for love in all the right places this time. But with square to Uranus, maybe not.
Maybe not. Well, maybe by October they'll have it figured out.
Yes, that's right.
All right. I think that's it for today. Thank you for your time. You are 9 hours ahead of me, so thank you for staying up late to talk with me with our casual cosmic conversations.
No,
and maybe we'll share this
Thank
again
you.
soon. Maybe we'll try it again another time. We'll see
great.
what people say.
Great, Alie. Thank you.
All right. Talk soon.
Bye now.
Bye-bye.
Bye.